Okay, America. So how much more are you willing to pay for your produce, your beef, your chicken, your pork, your eggs? Well, it's going up in the new year, one way or the other. Hi, I'm David Thompson. So Donald Trump promised, as one of his first acts as president, to begin deporting millions of illegal immigrants. Okay, millions. Now, I'm not sure of this number. Nobody really is. Now, Donald Trump had said between 10 and 15 million. His new border czar, Tom Homan, said it's going to be between 15 and 24 million. His chief of staff, or deputy chief of staff, Stephen Miller, it could be 100 million because he doesn't like anybody. He thinks nobody deserves to be in America but people who are like Trump. So we have a problem here. See, Trump pointed back to what happened under the Eisenhower administration. Back in 1958, Ike decided to deport about 1 million immigrants. It ended up being maybe 800,000. Now, they had a name for it. They called it Operation Wetbag. Boy, talk about stereotyping and racism. Anyway, so they did send back about 800,000 people. This was a disaster because families were broken up. People were sent out and there weren't enough workers on farms. There was an issue, okay? But we're looking at something that's going to make this look like playland, at the park. Because Donald Trump is planning a bigger, better deportation than anybody ever seen in the universe. Bigger. Bigger is better. But how will this affect you? Now, if you are a conservative right-wing person and you voted for Trump because you wanted to get rid of illegal immigrants because they're taking too much of what belongs to you, then you're going to get a warm and fuzzy. You're going to feel really good when they start putting these people in buses and in camps and then dropping them off into countries they don't even know. You're going to love it. Now, if you're a farmer or if you like to eat, this may not be a very good idea and it may upset you. Okay, it may upset you. So let's take a look at this. Now, in 2023, the Department of Agriculture told us that there were approximately 3.4 million producers or farmers and workers involved in the farming industry in the United States. Now, I found this article about the Trump plan and how it may affect people. It's from the Capital Dispatch in Iowa. Can't beat that. It's where farming grow up, right? Iowa. Corn. Or is that potatoes? Okay, potatoes. It says, if President-elect Donald Trump follows through on his pledge to deport millions of immigrants, it could upend the economics of states where farming and other food-related industries are crucial and where labor shortages abound. Immigrants make up 2/3 of the nation's crop farm workers, according to the U.S. Department of Labor, and roughly 2 in 5 of them are not legally authorized to work in the United States. Agricultural industries such as meatpacking, dairy farms, and poultry and livestock farms also rely heavily on immigrants. We have 5 to 6 employees that do the work that nobody else will do. We wouldn't survive without them, said Bruce Lampman, who owns Lampman Dairy Farm in Bernea, Idaho. His farm, which has been in the family 3 decades, has 350 cows producing some 26,000 pounds of milk a day. My business and every agriculture business in the U.S. will be crippled if they want to get rid of everybody who does the work, said Lampman, adding that his workers are worried about what's to come. Right there, you're going to find out that as much as you may not like people that maybe are brown, you might not like people that don't speak English. They should speak English if they come to this country. You demand it, and you might be one of those folks. And okay, I can respect you. You have your opinion. But when you go to the store and the tomatoes $12, don't complain to the person who manages the store. Don't complain to the grocer. Don't complain to your congressman. You took it upon yourself to decide that everybody needs to go that you believe doesn't belong here. And nobody in your family is going out farming to do the work. I digress a little. What tactics will Trump use to deport people? Well, I don't know. This is, again, one of those things where everybody has an opinion, like everybody has a butthole. okay? First of all, Trump promised that he would reduce grocery prices. In fact, he created the word grocery just recently. All of us are now using the word grocery, never before used, never before thought of the word grocery. Apples and oranges and eggs, it's grocery items, okay? So he created the word grocery. And at the same time, he got elected on groceries because they were too high. Too high. And then, he comes out 5 weeks later and says, wait a minute. I don't think I can reduce prices. There's a lot of things going on here. Supply chains broke. The moon is in the wrong phase. The star Alpha Centauri is moved out of place. All kind of really genius thinking of him, knowing that all these things affect grocery prices, and he's unable to get them all in line to drop the price. Okay, so how do you get rid of 10, 20, 30, 40? Now, Eisenhower got rid of them by using local law enforcement and army and a lot of different things. I believe he was able to round them up as they came out of work. And, of course, that is not a huge number, but it's a big number. And I don't know, and I didn't research how long it took, but they did deport some people. Now, how do you deport millions? Tens of millions. You can't use, and of course he's claiming he's going to bring people in from everywhere, all kinds of manners of government workers to help process these people. One person I think Tom Homan said, there won't be camps. They're just going to put them on an airplane and take them somewhere. I think Stephen Miller said there will be camps, and they'll have to stay in these camps and then be deported somewhere. Okay? Somewhere back to where they belong. Of course, how do you know exactly where they came from? I mean, they may not be talking. And do those countries want them back? No one. Has anybody asked those countries? Because it counts. I mean, when someone wants to bring somebody back here to the United States, they have to ask, hey, do you want this guy back? Okay. So how do you do this? I mean, my fear is they're going to use U.S. troops. They're not doing anything else, right? Just bring the tanks into the streets and break posse comitatus. Yeah, posse comitatus. That's basically a law that states that you cannot use American military to do police work in the continental United States. And, of course, or Alaska or Hawaii. You can't do it. That's the problem with using the military, is that they're not policemen. They use a hammer when a hammer is not required. Everything's a nail to them. Okay, you need people qualified to deal with people, Border Patrol, but we don't have enough. The 11, 12, 20, 30 million people? I digress. That's my fear. See, and once that happens, the fear that everybody has that did not vote for Trump, the fear that he will become this dictator using powers that really weren't given to the president, okay, that we will see more and more deterioration in our rights, because once they get rid of the illegal immigrants, who's next? Okay? They came for the illegal immigrants. I didn't say anything. They came for people who were left-wing that didn't vote for him. I didn't say anything. They came for the Presbyterians. I didn't say anything. Now they're coming for me. Right? I mean, where does this go? Caution has to be applied here. But no, there is no caution. Will this invoke protests, riots? Will violence incur because of what's happening? Will this crack America even farther? Will this create a divide even greater than one we have right now? At what price are we going to do this? How much damage will this do to the farming industry, which is my point? I have another article that I want to read, and it's from the AG report from Ohio Independent. Let's start out with the reality of the situation, that there are a large number of jobs in the agricultural space, and the phrase that is often used is that they are jobs that Americans just won't do, said agricultural expert Andy Vance. Vance said that these jobs are labor intensive. So we rely on this migrant labor. We're migrants who want to come to this country. They go through the H-2A program, he said. According to the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Service, the H-2A program allows U.S. employers or U.S. agents who meet specific regulatory requirements to bring foreign nationals to the United States to fill temporary agricultural jobs. If you suddenly don't have that supply of workers, you've got to pay more. It's all supply and demand, Vance said. Okay, so he's talking about H-2A. These are people that have permits to come in. But there are plenty of immigrants that don't have permits that still have a purpose here in the United States, that perform jobs American citizens won't do. And the very fact that there isn't enough American citizens available to do them is a whole nother issue. So where does this affect the American farmer, who's already in deep trouble? I've mentioned this myself, that I've seen farms go out of business here. I see estate sales where farm equipment's being auctioned off and farms go belly up. How many more will go because there's not enough workers, because they have to pay more for labor, because they have to reduce their output? How many will file bankruptcy? At some point, this will affect the nation in general because prices will go up. American-produced produce, beef, chicken, eggs may be a thing in the past. We may see the whole farming industry collapse because of the lack of workers. We're going to have to import more and more produce and food from other countries we now consider enemies, like Canada and Mexico. And we're also going to put tariffs on them, making the produce even more expensive coming into this country. I don't know that this was ever a good idea. I believe this whole scheme was hatched out of bigotry, hatred, racism, and greed. It's easy to hate people. It's easy to think that you can do everything on your own. But if you want to be a protectionist, it's one thing. But if you're going to be a protectionist, make sure you can do everything you need by yourself. If you're going to need to rely on other countries who you've made enemies of, they might turn their back on you and say, hey, you're on your own, buddy. It's all the time I have today. Thank you for joining me. Remember to like, subscribe, and share the video. Live stream Thursday, 7 p.m. Don't forget to watch the live stream. And God bless you. And I'll see you next time right here on the Tom Sig Analysis. I have a garden. I'll get some produce.
Thank you for watching the Tom Sig Analysis. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share this video, and keep an eye out for our next video.